All right, good morning, the people who are watching us right now. It's 18 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. and also we are on the 20th of December 2023. Wednesday edition of this show, and this will be really taking us up to the hour of 9 a.m. My name is Federick. We'll be taking this and also discussing a lot of issues here that are really pertinent. I remember we'll be in the due course of the show having guests here discussing about the conflict that is in the Lugbara Kari, or the cultural institution that is for the Lugbara in the Western region. Remember, there's a lot about the establishment of the leadership of this cultural institution, and also up to now the issues of gazettement of the cultural institution. For it to be recognized is another issue that is actually remaining pending. This is after the death of the paramount chief, that is His Highness the Agofe, that is Avutia Jackson, who died in 2022, and up to now there's a lot that is actually going on. Actually, this is where we will be having a lot of discussions here. For you to be part of that discussion, just move to your YouTube channel and share with us your comments and also your questions that you want to be really answered in the show. That is what we'll be having here. But also, before we maybe get in the guests, I will be having a lot of discussions around so many topics that I'll be highlighting here. But also, remember, there's a lot that is going on. But first of all, let me welcome those of you who are watching us here in Arua City, and those from Arua District, those in Terego, Mario Kolo, and not forgetting those in Koboko, Yumbe, Ajuman, Moyo, Bunki, and those who are watching us from Lurusha region, that is the people from Pakwach, Jombo, and also not forgetting those in Nebi. And remember, there's a lot happening elsewhere, and also that is what we'll be bringing here right away. But also, those of you who are watching us from the Langwa and Atolsha regions, we say thank you very, very much. And also those from Eastern and those in Central, those in Western Uganda, we say thank you and welcome to this show. This is the Kokoliriko show that comes every Monday to Friday on Western television from the hour of 7 to really the hour of 9 a.m. And also after that, we'll be having the news in Lugbarati that will be brought to you by Fete Emmanuel and the team there. But also that will be followed by the Northern Request hour, where you have music played back to back once you just request for it, and there will be really room for you to have your choice, really, or your favorite music played at that point of time. But also that will take us to the news in Alur, that will be anchored by Peace or Chuck at midday, and thereafter we'll have the wishful time come in, and that will take you to the movie session and also take you to the Chukchuku hour, that is the entertainment show on the TV. But also thereafter you will be closing the day with the Nilecast, that's the news in English, that will be brought to you by Christine Okomoringa, and also many other programs that will be following suit up to the morning time, where you will be also getting a repeat or really getting another segment of the Kokoliriko tomorrow. And most interestingly, a lot of issues are happening, or really updates are being seen everywhere. Remember, the biggest story in West Nile, one of it is the resignation of the Vice LC5 of Pakwas district. Remember, Ben, the Vice Chairperson, that is Ben, who resigned yesterday, has been one of the prominent persons in the executive of under the leadership of Omito Steen, who is the LC5 chairperson of Pakwas district. Remember, there's been a developing conflict between the vice chairperson and the chairperson of Pakwas district local government for over the years, and this is after the two indicated that they want to contest as member of parliament for Pakwas district, and this is what is actually happening now. And if you have been following this story, this is just a sign of a symptom that has been building some time back, and it has lasted for quite a long period of time. This is from the year, that is 2022, up to this time, where you have been able to see the resignation later coming openly. And if you look at the vice chairperson generally, he has been one person who has worked in the local government for more than 10 years as a councillor and now a district executive member, and he is a strong member of the National Resistance Movement Party, who has been actually doing a lot of campaigns for the ruling government, or the ruling party, that is National Resistance Movement in Pakwach district. And if you look at Pakwach generally, this is a district that is primarily occupied by the ruling party, that is National Resistance Movement, and also a lot of things have been really happening. This is after really a number of people presumed to have believed that the leadership of the current parliamentarians that they have sent from Pakwach district have not really done the much they needed, the citizens needed, and that's why you see a number of people planning or really showing interest to be contesting in that position. And this comes at a time when actually NRM has just announced that they will start their countrywide tour, or really consultations ahead of the 2026 general elections. And this conflict, I mean, between the vice chairperson and the chairperson Pakwach district has been really an issue where you see the two not sitting in one place together, and it became very difficult for the executive to actually sit together to actually deliberate on issues of procedures, issues to do with the execution of their duties and so on, because really the vice chairperson, who is also the leader of government business, if he fails to attend serious meetings of maybe approving budgets and doing a lot of things like maybe scrutinizing bylaws and ordinances, this is one thing that has been really quite challenging. So it is prudent enough that maybe the chairman now goes to look for, upon really getting information or doing his consultation, goes down now to look for whoever could fit in that position right now. And if you move into the highlight of some of the issues that we want to really digest about, remember the issue of one person whose life has been claimed in Nebi district, but also 11 others hospitalized after the residents consumed a charm that has been given to them by a witch doctor. Remember, there's one person who actually lost 17 heads of cattle and went to the witch doctor's shrine and also got advice that they should be able to eat some of the leaves that the witch doctor was giving to them. And these seeds, when these people ate them with the leaves, and people became unconscious, according to the doctors, the people became conscious, and one person unfortunately passed on, and the rest are not really improving, and that's what is happening there. And we will move to that sad story briefly. But also remember, the Democratic Republic of Congo is conducting her elections today. This from the president to the members of parliament, and also coming to the leaders of the provinces, and also coming down to the community leaders. And this is happening now. And remember, there are 44 million voters out of 100 million voters who have registered for these elections. Remember, recently the East African community was not accepted to send her observers in this East African community member country, and this is what we'll be also briefly tackling. And also remember the issues to do with the issues to do with the treaties and also the anti-gay law. Remember, on Monday, the anti-gay law was tabled or was mentioned in the court. This is what it has started, and this will be really moving forth. And the judges are set, everything is set, and another date is yet to be scheduled for hearing. For hearing and also other proceedings to continue. Remember, the issues of rebel attacks has continued to be. Remember the fire incident in Masaka and Kawembe that claimed a lot of lives, and this is attributed to the ADF remnants that are said to be remnants who are actually devastating or destabilizing peace in Uganda. And remember, this has continued to manifest in different forms. Remember the incident of the shootings in the national park, and the issues of people's heads chopped, and also the issues of bomb blasts that we witnessed in some buildings in Greater Kampala, and also the recent the burnings of yesterday, between Monday and yesterday, which were reported, and where 4 people actually were said to have died from that fire incident. And this and more other stories will be actually bringing you forth in the subsequent hours. Let's take a break from here. We'll be coming back shortly. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Serve your family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on antenna decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings per bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Alright, welcome back from that commercial break. Earlier on, I gave you highlights of the issues that we'll be discussing here with you, and most importantly, I want to tell you that you can be part of this station by actually saying hi and also congratulate those who are enjoying the festive season. But also, it's one way you can extend your greetings or really appreciative congratulatory messages for the end of the year. It's very important that you send your Christmas message through this television if you want, but also you can advertise your businesses and also say something about your business with this television, as we bring you really the beauty of what you do and also market your products. That can easily be done when you use our social media platforms, or you officially come to the station to really tap on the marketing department for you to do that. Or you can approach the management, or really write to them using the email account. That is the email address, that is westniletvstation@gmail.com. That is one way you can be able to tap into business opportunities. If you want to do talk shows, if you want to do adverts, if you want to also maybe do marketing, it's very simple for you to do that, and you can easily reach so many viewers, so many people who are actually looking for those marketing opportunities or even products that you deal in. It's very, very important for you to do that, and that can easily really market your products. Remember, there are so many people who are now impressed in the online shopping, and this is the platform that you can be able to do or really use to extend or expand your customer base. That is very, very important. Remember, earlier on I told you that the Pakwach district vice chairperson actually resigned yesterday, and he tendered his resignation, stating that clearly in the letter that he has not really seen the importance of him being in the executive, since a lot of issues that they are advocating for have not been worked on, but also the issues of the conflict within the executives is one thing that has actually forced him to resign. But if you look at the detailed analysis of the issues, this executive formed in the year 2021 after the elections around May, went on to take off of office on around June, but you realize that after the takeover of the office, a number of the executive committee split, and they became like in factions. Others followed the vice chairperson, others followed the chairperson, as their opinions were not really trying to rhyme together, and realized that the executive had no more decision that will be taken uniformly, much as the majority could accept to do certain things. The minority would not really want to take over that, and this actually trickled down to the councillors, where the council became like a confused area where people do not want to accept now what others want us to move with. That is one thing that has been happening in Pakwach District Council, and this became very difficult for the chairperson of the district to manage the council, and also the speaker at some point. Controlling the council became difficult, as people or the councillors would want to take their own decisions apart from following the rules of procedure. At some point you find some councillors moving out, and they destabilize proceedings. So this has been really something that has happened, and if you attended the funeral right at Nebi, that was there to pay tribute to actually the council sitting for the greater Nebi councillors. I mean those from Pakwach coming to Nebi municipality, coming to Nebi, coming to Zombo town council, and so, and also the entire council of Zombo district, which actually took place at Nebi district headquarters. You realize that a lot of issues came out before even the council sat. You realize that the district chairperson of Pakwach did not attend that council sitting. This is after really the vice chairperson arrived earlier. When he arrived and the chairperson saw that the vice chairperson had arrived, he had to say that he's moving for a duty somewhere. And this actually raised doubts, and to an extent that you realize that the fight went into the business fraternity, the border groups who came from Pakwach. Others were put in on reflector jackets, donning the pictures of the vice chairperson, others donning the pictures of the chairperson. Now that council sitting ended, and as the borders were going back, there was a fight that broke out, and really a lot of issues came out in that. And this did not stop there. The fight continued, not until the two vice chairperson and the chairperson physically attacked each other, exchanging a lot of words and so on, which now amounted to this open resignation. And how beneficial will this be is another issue that will be coming. This, according to some of the councillors that we really interacted with before I came for this show, this will actually give a way for the chairman to actually use his powers to actually exercise his powers to do his work effectively, because he has been getting a lot of headaches with his vice chairperson, as both of them have interest in contesting in the 2026 general elections that will be coming, and all of them want to contest as members of parliament. Much as campaigns have not kick-started official, but you will realize that in every fora, these both of the chairman and the vice, all of them really go into funeral places to do really a campaign for themselves. And that is one thing some of the councillors are actually raising, actually saying, they said actually that resignation is good, also to give room for evaluation to see the performance of the vice chairperson and he in that position of being the leader of government business. He actually had minimal achievements according to some of the councillors, but also the chairperson did not actually play his game very well. Upon appointment of the vice chairperson, he would have used his power of being the head of the executive to actually summon some of the executive who are actually violating that rate. But also he has the powers to actually rule off or really lay off some of the executives who are not cooperating with him. But since he did not use that power, it proved that he was also not really serious about his executive, the behavior they're exhibiting, which actually trickled down to the council generally. And that is what is happening there in Pakwach district. And also moving just to the neighbors of Pakwach, that is coming to Nebi. There's one person who actually went to a witch doctor. The witch doctor gave him charm. The charm is said to have been some leaves and the seed of some plant, which is yet to be known. And the witch doctor actually came to the village and told people to actually consume that leaf, so that this man's animals will be recovered, and the person who has stolen the heads of cattle will just be known and will appear, and that the animals will be recovered. And when people consumed these leaves and the charm or the magic bullet that will be there to recover the animals, people started feeling dizzy, others became mentally confused, and so on. Unfortunately, they were taken to the health facility, and one of the persons died. And this is the unfortunate bit. People wanted to raid the homes of the witch doctor, and unfortunately, or fortunately, to his luck, the police intervened and rescued him from his shrine. And this is what is happening there. And if you look at the reports from the doctor who attended to these patients or the victims, he actually said that there's no improvement, and as of now, and the people the people have no clear history of what is actually happening with them or to them. That is what is currently happening in Nebi municipality. And remember, this comes in 6 months when 15 people also went to a witch doctor, and they got the same signs, and also some of them were vomiting and so on. This actually has raised a lot of doubts about what is actually happening. But also, you remember the Witchcraft Act. This is one thing that is actually not needed in the country. According to the laws, the witchcraft practitioners are not supposed to be people who are not regular are supposed to practice this, apart from the traditional herbalists or healers who are supposed to be registered with the National Drug Authority, who are supposed to do these activities. But if you look at what is happening now, you realize that because of a love for money, people are not doing the real job that the traditional healers used to do. And you realize that people assume that every leaf is what is supposed to help people from any other challenge. And the unfortunate bit is the animals have not been recovered. Okay, the animals that were taken or stolen have not been recovered, but people are dying. This is what is happening. So should we continue to see people dying because we feel like the witch doctors or the traditional herbalists are doing the rightful thing, yet their actions are not really monitored so closely? Because at some point, if people continue to die, and this has seemingly been a repeated kind of offense that is happening or crime that is happening in Nebi municipality. If you look at the situation there, it has been there before. People have been doing this for quite a longer period of time. If you remember the rebel attack in Zombo district, where the Lendu people or the Alor people who attacked the army detached, allegedly, as they were trying to look for guns. You realize that that scenario was actually brought about by these witch doctors, and the people believed that the charms they used would be able to protect them from the bullets that will be shot by the UPDF. And remember, these people were using panga to actually attack the army detached, and this is one thing that has been really there happening. So the history of people using charms to defend themselves in the Alur region is something that has really been there for quite a long period of time. But also looking at the impacts of this, you realize that there is no success story recorded on the side of the people who are using these charms. So what is the need of consistently or continuously using some of these kind of things when you are not seeing the results coming out, but also you see the negative impact of this happening on the people who are actually using them? So there's need actually to educate the masses about the impact of this, and also really look at what people should be able to really do. When your animals are stolen, you have to register a case at the security offices from the villages, even the police. instead of really looking at the aspect of going to the witch doctors to really move to recover the animals, which you cannot do. And sometimes people spend a lot of monies. I remember a situation that actually also happened in Terego district, where somebody's animals were looted and decided to go to a witch doctor. The witch doctor told him there were actually 6 bulls, actual heads of cattle, including 2 bulls and 4 heifers that were taken by these thugs, or the thieves who went to steal these animals. Now, after these animals were stolen from the kraal, this person went to a witch doctor. The witch doctor told him to give him 7 million Ugandan shillings, and these people ran and looked for this money. And after looking for the 7 million, the witch doctor said these animals were already slaughtered, but the money can be trapped before the people use the monies. And these people were told to go and buy a briefcase, which briefcase they bought and they brought to the witch doctor. Here in Arua City, the witch doctor is around Tanganyika area that I basically know about. And when this person was telling these people to go and buy the briefcase, he said actually he has already recovered the money, and only that the money needed to be mixed with the original money that they could be bringing from their homes. And they said they should bring another 7 million Ugandan shillings. Where these people went and sold all the goats they had. They sold the land so that they can get that 7 million. And after getting the 7 million, they brought it. And the witch doctors told them to go home and relax for 2 days. And that the money that they had actually impounded from the thieves will be mixed up with the money that they have brought in 72 hours. And thereafter, they will be able to get 1.7 billion Ugandan shillings that will be there for them. And this is the money that was from the animals that the thieves actually sold. So these people waited for the 72 hours. The witch doctor disappeared from the area he has been operating, and up to now they have failed to get it. And this case was registered at the police station, but up to now there's no follow-up, and the numbers the witch doctor was using are not going through. And that is one scenario that is happening. There are so many people who have been conned by these traditional witch healers, the witch doctors, but people have failed to understand the logic behind this. There are so many people who are making money out of this kind of situations that are created. When the vulnerable persons come to explain around them, they will say that, I can trace those animals. I can trace those thugs who have stolen your item. You will just come and see it here. Many people have lost a lot of things from this, and we've seen the traditional leaders, the Aluru Kingdom, coming out to condemn the situation where the witch doctors are actually overwhelmed in the kingdom, and they are saying that actually this need for concerted effort to actually educate the masses and also do away with the witch doctors as really prescribed in the laws and so on. So that is what is happening in Arusha region. We need to really tell the people the truth. Much as in the African traditional society, we used to see people being healed, or people's things being recovered through those ancestors and also the spirits that people believed in. But these things are no longer working so much in the African culture. We've seen the Lugara people used to have the Yakani, they used to have many other things that we may talk about that used to be powerful in saving people's property, in saving people from being stolen, or the misbehaviors. Once you misbehave in the chiefdom, When they go to the shrines and somebody cries, that is the end of you, or you have to come and apologize. If not, your life will be claimed. But you have seen that these are not working as of now. But can we should we continue to impress these witch doctors? No, the answer is no, because really the people that people used to go to were not witch doctors. These were really cultural leaders who will preside over those challenges that people are having, and you will see immediate reactions. But it used not to be witch doctors. But now we have seen in this modern era people going to the so-called witch doctors, and yet the term witch doctor is not even in any part of the world written anywhere. You see that you are either a doctor or you are a witch, according to Ministry of Health. So that means these witches continue to confuse people instead of really giving people really the rightful advice. We have seen the scenarios of the traditional healers or herbalists taking diverting people's attention from seeking for medical attention from health facilities. From people reporting cases at police, from people maybe going to the counselors, maybe the psychiatric doctors to ask for help, diverting people's attention from seeking for justice, that before you go to report your case, you first come and I give you some charms for you to win the case. You see those kind of things, and these are really happening in this era where we have a lot of technological advancement, a lot of people learning through different media platforms, and people have failed to change from that. So we should be able to really learn a lot from this. And now that people are dying and so on, who will account for these deaths? Who will account for the medical bills? That's one thing that we should be able to understand. But also, who will account for the trauma people are going through in the greater Lurusha region currently? 11 people hospitalized, 1 dead. And that's the unfortunate bit that we are seeing there. But also, the animals have not been recovered. Well, I've not heard that somebody has recovered his stolen item after going to a witch doctor or a witch from that perspective. And this should be really a warning to everyone to understand that these are people who claim to be recovering other people's items. These are conmen. Because if you are able to give the person money and at the end of the day you are the person who becomes sick or you are the person who dies because of trying to look for other avenues to recover your stolen items, it's quite an unfortunate thing that we should not be really thinking about, we should not be believing in. But also the religious leaders, the cultural leaders, and also the civil society, please let's come together and sensitize the community about some of these things. If we want to really achieve much in developing our region, in moving away from the primitivity that we have in our society, that some people can easily come in and dilute the mind of the people who want to develop to what is termed as really retardation in terms of the mental well-being and also the social well-being. People are not really developing. People are not getting any welfare because they believe that the witches, the herbalists could help them in actually becoming wealthier. We have seen people saying that you have to first go to the herbalists before you maybe become wealthier, before you buy maybe something, before you recover your item, before you get healed. You see those kind of things. They come because people's mind have not been really prepared well to really look for what they deserve. But people are just following what is actually happening elsewhere because of the speculations. You have seen these witches putting adverts across the region. Even in a rural city here, if you go to any post, If you go to any paper that has been put on the walls, on the banners, on even the gates of the health facilities, on the walls of the hospital, around the streets, go there. You will see Dr. Bamia, DJ, what, Mama this, what, a lot of them. Those kind of names that they can cure HIV, cancer, what, a lot of diseases. Somebody writes there that this drug can cure 144 diseases on your body. So why do you think somebody who is really knowledgeable enough could not really run for that? People just have to go for those kind of things, that we can integrate you with your lover who had attacked you, we can bring you this. Those are things at the rate. So they confuse the minds of so many people. Now people go and spend all the little resources. They sell off their land, they sell off their property, and many other things. They even empty their bank accounts just to run to rescue themselves, or to run to these witches or herbalists to see that they are able to reclaim their things, and yet they cannot even get those things back. So this is what is happening. We need to really embrace community policing and really have community dialogues on this. But also the enforcement against the witches and the herbalists who have not registered with the regulators needs to be really expedited. If we don't really do that, it will really worsen. Because from the months of December up to the months of February, the number of the witch doctors, the witches, I mean, and also the witchcraft practitioners, the herbalists and so on, tend to increase each and every year. So we should be able to really strategize, especially the enforcement team and also those who are in health, because they are in the forefront on looking at the issues of these people seriously. Let's take a break from here. We'll be coming back shortly with the other issues that we have across the country, but also many others that we have at hand. This is West Nile Television. We are here on the Kokoliriko show discussing a lot of issues here. Let's take a break. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Serve your family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on antenna decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings, Copper Bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. We are still proceeding with the issues on current affairs and also what is happening right away, and also trying to really bring you what is happening across the country. Remember, the National Resistance Movement, NRM Party, has communicated that come January 2024, they will be really having their countrywide consultations kick off, and that's what will be happening in January. And remember, the only successful political party that has been able to really do the first phase of the countrywide consultation has been the National Unity Platform, that is NUP party, headed by the former member of parliament, that is Chadondo East constituency, that is Robert Chagulanyi, who is also the president of the party. Okay, so we will be seeing a National Resistance Movement, NRM party, doing the countrywide consultations in January this coming year. And also this is one thing that has been actually communicated by the party's general secretary, that is Todong, who is the party general secretary. And remember, according to Todong, this will be one way the party will be able to actually meet various people who will be able to give advice on who is supposed to be the party flag bearer for the presidential race, but also who is there need for the party to change some people in leadership. Those are the things they are going to look at, but also looking at the strategies that are to be deployed in marketing the party is another issue. Remember, the party has established a lot of structures from the grassroots up to the national level. The grassroots, I mean, from villages up to the different levels, up to the national level. That's one thing that National Resistance Movement Party has done. Remember, this is the 5th year term for the party really to move on with this kind of strategy since 1985, when NRM took over power. Up to now, they are still enjoying the dreams of what they did from 1985 up to now. And this is the party that has at least witnessed sanity or peace consistently in the country, where really all the parts of the country have not seen any tension created. Maybe the whole country becomes in tension, people running for refuge and so on. That has not been able to happen under the regime. So that is one thing that is currently happening within the ruling party, that is National Resistance Movement. And for those of you who are out there, you must be aware that the NRM party has different strategies that they have been able to lay in as far as moving on to maintain power is concerned. And remember, the issues of having strategies through the Women Council, and also having the other groupings talk about the NRM party chairpersons, executives, and so on, from even villages up to really the national level, is what gives them an edge above all the political parties in this country. Remember, recently the party leadership and many other people were communicating that the party has actually 438 leaders who are just there independently for the party. That means the one who is going to contest in 2026 as the president, the aspiring candidate under the party, will already have those stroke votes that are waiting for him. That is what is actually happening there. And remember, these consultations will start from the central region, that is in Kampala, Greater Kampala region, and also they will now move to upcountry to meet these other sub-regions later on. And that's what is happening there in the ruling National Resistance Movement, NRM party. But also moving away from NRM, remember the story around DP. The DP factions have been there and really show immensely seen. This is after really DP announced that they'll be having also their countrywide tour in January in this coming year, and this was communicated by Norbert Mao, the party president, after a short press briefing just in November. And remember, when he communicated this, so many people came and said, no, we are not going to side with Norbert Mao. This is because of the agreement he signed with the ruling party, that is National Resistance Movement Party, that is NRM. And they said actually Norbert Mao was trying to put an attempt to sell off the party, and this is what really was bringing a lot of feud in the party. So Norbert Mao clearly, when he came to Arua City last week to flag off or to do the groundbreaking for the Electoral Commission offices, first ever permanent building in Arua City, that will be for the districts in Arua City, worth 4.699 billion Ugandan shillings. He actually explained clearly that those are differences in ideology, and he does not condone that, and also will not accept anyone to run a parallel campaign against a Democratic Party as long as he is still the party president. And that is a statement from Norbert Mao. He went ahead to criticize the journalists about the issues of always focusing on such conflicts. He said media actually escalates rotten news. That's according to his statements. Rotten news that people always follow so much. He was giving an example with the recent marriage ceremony for the Chabazinga, and he said that this man wanted to really marry, but people were so much focusing on recording some women outside who were pretending to be the wives to be for the king, and yet the man really got married, and the news is no longer circulating. So that's one example he was trying to give. He said he is not going to really side with those party officials who are trying to move away from the party currently. And let's take a break here shortly. We'll actually be coming back with something unique that we'll be waiting for. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Help your family the bigger feast this Christmas with Star Times upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on Antenna Decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings per bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. Earlier I told you that there's a surprise guest that has come in, and that's what I'll be really introducing you shortly here. That's why we took just a brief break there, and I've been joined by the Information Minister for Lugbarakari, and as earlier I told you that we'll be really discussing so many issues around the Lugbara cultural institution, that is the Lugbarakari. You remember the institution lost the paramount chief, that is His Highness the Agofe of Third, that is Jackson Avotia, which we lost from the start of this year. Was it this year? Yes. Yes, at the start of this year, on 23rd of January 2023. And after that, there was supposed to be an election organized for the to get a new chief, or the paramount chief, or the Agofe of the Lugbara people. So this has been dragging so long. I remember there was an attempt to organize the elections in July, and this really failed after really a number of issues came out where some people who were not nominated wanted to be voted in also, and so on. So many things came out in the elections. So what is currently at stake is what we want to move into and understand what is next for the Lugbara people. Because if we don't have a paramount chief, there's no way we'll be able to lobby for support for the Lugbara people. But also remember, the cultural institutions play a vital role in cementing the relationship among the people, and also improving a lot of things to do with even championing government programs, even bringing peace, and also many other things that are happening in a society. Shaping the society in a best way is what these cultural institutions stand of. And so we'll be coming to the guest right now. Let me introduce him. That is Mandebo Moses, who is one of the executives of the cultural institution, that is Lugbara Kari, who is the information minister. Let me just welcome you straight away.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that is his voice, and his one person who has been so much preaching the gospel of the Lugbara Cultural Institution, as in his position of being the information minister. We'll be having a lot from him from that. Let's start it from the start of January. What happened? Then coming to the elections, what happened, and why is it that we don't have the paramount chief up to date? Let's start it from there.
All right, thank you very much, and thanks for the invitation to West Nile TV. I would want to start by greeting all the Lugbara people out there, and assuring them that we have a very strong cultural institution. Many times what people think is not a cultural institution is about the gazettement of the cultural institution. Gazettement is about the formal system of government recognizing the cultural institution. But in practice, the Lugbara Cultural Institution has existed since long. That's one thing which I want to make clear to our people. To elaborate that, let's just count backwards. That since the people of Lugbara existed, the people, the leadership that has been running the Lugbara society is the Lugbara Cultural Institution. Because many times when we talk about Lugbara Kari, there might be people out there right now as we are speaking who are saying, oh, this is a forgery, this is people who want money from government, these are people who are not authentic. Many Lugbara ask themselves, saying, no, is there really anything like a Lugbara Cultural Institution? Yes. What we really want to emphasize is that we have migrated thousands of kilometers. We migrated through Sudan, through hostile territory, through South Sudan to settle where we are here. And I want to assure Lugbara people that we were not led here by LC1 chairpersons. We were not led into this place by LC3 chairpersons or by presidents of Uganda. We were not led here by religious leaders, whether priests or bishops or anything. We were led by leadership of the Lugbara Cultural Institution. So the institution is strong. It has judiciary where we resolve cases, and I many times say that the cultural institution in its state right now resolves more cases of conflict and with more clarity, not only dispensing justice but also reconciliation, more than the formal justice system that we have today. I also emphasize that it has a parliament where we make the laws. And so there are laws. These laws have become such a normal part of our life that they call them norms. A norm is a law that has become a normal part of society. You don't have to keep emphasizing it. People know that you are not supposed to do this and you're supposed to do this. And also we have what we call Langa, which is basically the parliament, the clan leaders coming together to be able to make rules or to adjust rules on how to run society. So the constitution is this norm, the norms which are already existing in society. So this is very important for me as an introduction for our viewers out there. The Lugbara Cultural Institution exists. What is left is what is called gazettement of Lugbara Cultural Institution, which cannot happen until the paramount chief is in existence.
So this comes to my question.
Yes, exactly.
What has happened that we have failed to actually within 6 months get a paramount chief?
Maybe 6 months is a short time. You see, when we talk cultural, we have a lot of history behind us. We could say, we could count it 6 months now, but I would say I would essentially say 56 years. It is 56 years since we have not had the substantive paramount chief for the Lugbara Cultural Institution. Actually, the last substantive paramount chief we had for Lugbara Cultural Institution was by 1967. That is His Highness Boroa, who was the second Agofe of Lugbara Kari. And now what our people need to understand is this: when the colonial government left Uganda as a government, it left a two-tier system of government. One called the local government, which was entirely supposed to be under the leadership of the cultural institutions. And the president of Uganda was to come from within the cultural institutions of Uganda. And that is why Kabaka Mutesa was the first president of Uganda. Then you had the elite-led government side, which would be under the office of the prime minister. And by then it was Apollo Milton Obote who was the leader of the government in terms of prime minister position. Now there came the conflict, what we many times call the Buganda crisis, between the office of president, which is under the cultural institution, and the office of the prime minister. And that eventually the power wrangles led to the overthrow of office of the presidency. And with that came the ban on all cultural institutions in Uganda. All. Ban. Obote, who was prime minister, instituted himself as the president of Uganda, pushed aside the entire cultural setting, and then appointed his own prime minister. And that meant now the whole cultural institution's role in governance was pushed aside. Some of the kings and the chiefs ran into exile. We know about that. Some of them coiled back into society, including our own Boroa, who was the Agofe of Lugbara Kari. So they disappeared. By then, any sitting of cultural leaders, whether they are clan leaders or chiefs that have sat together, would be looked at as a means of trying to overthrow government. So it would be dispersed by force. So that is when the office of Agofe essentially became vacant. Now, with the 1995 constitution came the allowance that societies that already had cultural institutions and want to come back can already revive the cultural institutions. So the last Agofe we lost, Agofe Jason Avutia, was leader of an interim government or a transitional government of the Lugbara Cultural Institution. I want that to come out clearly, which I am part of. The whole idea of this transitional government was to rebuild the original cultural institution so that we can then have a true Agofe. Yes, I am called information minister. Yes, Jason Avutia is fully called the Agofe the third, but we know that we are entirely a transitional government. For example, Jason Avutia was not necessarily a chief of any place, but he was the leader of what was called Arua Elders Association, which was a pseudo organization mimicking the cultural institution, trying to retain the values of our culture in a situation where cultural activities were banned. So basically, when you look at Avutia coming in as a transitional government, there were a number of things that he had put in place. that were necessary for us to progress to find the Agofe, the true Agofe. All of us know that is supposed to be a true Agofe. So basically what he did was we needed to identify all clan leaders in the Lugbara community. From the clan leaders, they would then sit down to appoint the chiefs of the major clans of the Lugbara, which are Terego, Maracha, Vora, Aivu, Madi, and Aringa, the 6 original clans that we know in Uganda, apart from the ones in Congo and in South Sudan. So basically, Avutia died at a time when the clan level leadership was well identified and the chief level leadership was identified but with issues. So basically he died at a time when it was not fully resolved. Ideally, what we should have had is for the 4 chiefs then to sit to identify one of themselves to become the paramount chief of the Lugbara. And that is the person we are calling the Agofe. That is the person we are supposed to present for gazettement to government, him and his cabinet and the basic leadership at that level. So
I asked a question about many people are wondering what could be going on wrong because if you look at before the elections on the 25th or actually 24th of June, the select committee that was supposed to spearhead the issues of elections, scrutinizing, preparing all these chiefs who had applied for the voting to be paramount chief, came up with a report that they, out of the 2 candidates, that were presented for the position, that is the Right Honorable Prime Minister, that is Tuku Ishmael, and Yuma Manasseh, who is the chief from Aivu County. Yuma Manasseh qualified in that context, according to them, because he was duly elected as he started from a chief, maybe from the clans, came to the ranks of chief, and then he qualified to be in that position according to the constitution, if you look at it clearly. And also, if you look at the prime minister was like in the executive, he was never from those ranks. That's why they disqualified him. And on top of this, elections continued, which ended up in chaos. What would you say in relation to this, and maybe what is the way forward as per now?
Well, the elections on 24th was for me a stepping stone. By and large, I count it a step forward. In spite of the circumstances that that occurred. As you said, we had a situation where originally we have been basically clans at our lower levels. We have slowly moved to a level where we can now identify as Aivu, as Terego, as Vora, as Maracha, because of the presence of the office of the chiefs, all the 4 chiefs. Now what happened on 24th, essentially as you rightfully put it, is that one of the candidates that was presented was not mandated to be to have been a candidate for the position of Agofe. We had contradictions from within the original constitution that we had written as Lugbarakari, which did not specify. The only problem was this: it did not specify that if you are not a chief, you cannot become, you cannot stand for the position of Agofe. So based on that gap, the Prime Minister took advantage to front his candidature. In other words, in relation to the constitution, then he was right to front his candidature. But then what makes it what made it not to progress is that beyond the Lugbarakari constitution, as I said before in the beginning, the core constitution of the Lugbara is the culture. It is the norms that we already exist. Lugbara has ways of how leadership is elected or put into place. So basically that is what brought in enlightenment. For me, it was an enlightenment because the elders came up that were present. They said, no, you cannot be leader of the cultural institution if you're not from the, would I call it a royal blood? It would almost be like
lineage,
the lineage. For although we are chiefdom, somehow the clan leaders actually have a descent which is followed through. So then the clan leaders are choosing one of themselves to become a chief. That means already the person is a cultural leader at clan level by the time they become a chief. And so also by the time you become a gofe, you are already a leader at chief level and at a clan level. So when that came into the picture, unfortunately what became as chaos is by the time we went in for the election, there were people who naturally were already in support of who? Of the Prime Minister and his candidature. And there were also now people who were in support of the Lugbara culture. So basically what happened that day was the Lugbara culture took precedence over our constitution the way it was and over the candidature of the Prime Minister. So basically what happened is the Elders Council that day resolved that the 4 chiefs were then charged to go back and sit among themselves and select one of themselves to become the paramount chief of the Lugbara. And that for me is the aspect which we can call is dragging up to today. And given your question, it is dragging for good reasons, quite positive reasons in my opinion. Because then, whereas we have the office of the Agofe in place, we have the chiefs in place. I can tell you I've been privy to a number of dialogues among the chiefs, very, very positive dialogues in which they are looking at reconciliation at various levels. They are looking at cleaning the ground so that when we have the Agofe in place, the Agofe should not have headache. There shouldn't be a number of, first of all, people complaining, and there should be systems by which the Agofe is able to run. So for them, in fact, in the last meeting we had on the 5th of this month, the chiefs had asked that I should, when I speak to the media, I let the media know and let the Lugbara people know that they should be patient. The Lugbara people should be patient with the process. What they are doing, what we are calling a delay, is what they think is a due process to be able to have the rightful person and to have the good environment for the person to operate.
Okay, many Lugbaras will want to really know, is it a tactful delay for you to prepare the way for Yuma Manasseh, who has been a sole candidate by the constitution? Once you are just alone like that, you are supposed to be given the powers to start your work, and this means that Yuma had the actual idea now qualified to be installed as the paramount chief. Are you still preparing the ground for this, or you want to also organize more elections after one candidate remained alone? Yes, that's a very simple question that maybe you can just dive into a few seconds. Yes.
As I just said, in the last in the botched election we had, the resolution of the General Assembly and the Elders Council was that the 4 chiefs retreat and identify one of themselves as the paramount chief. It doesn't say that it has to be Manasseh Yuma, or it has to be the chief of Maracha, or the chief of Terego, or the chief of Vora. The whole idea is that they need to cooperate. The 3 of them need to agree, because then the Agofe's strength lies in the chiefs working together. You remember in that election that ended in draws twice. In draws twice. There was, many people call it a split, but I call it a unity from 4 different clans, looking at ourselves as Maracha, Terego, Vora. We kind of had a coalition. You would feel that there was Terego and Maracha on one side, and then Aivo and Vora on another side.
So maybe before you proceed, why would the legal officer proceed to preside over the elections that had actually been ruled off by the select committee?
The select committee was not the final authority. The select committee's role was an assignment. They were assigned to solicit for expression of interest and then look into the solicitation of the people who have submitted and make a recommendation to the elders council. So the select committee was not the final authority. The final authority was the elders council and the general assembly.
Yes, the recommendation made by the select committee, does it mean it did not go well with the elders council? Because really they in their report they recommended that Yuma is the only person who actually qualified. So there was no need for elections to be organized, and also there was no need for there was no need for them to organize more elections and continue. Actually, they recommended that the sole candidate now be declared. Why is it that we continued to organize elections when the powers entrusted into the select committee was actually seen to be underrated?
No, it wasn't underrated as such. As I said, the select committee was not the final authority, and you rightfully put it. The submission of the select committee was initially not 100% taken by the elders council. They actually did in the first place consider that this could be a possibility, and it is just after the whole process, as you say, descended into the chaos that we witnessed, that it was then overruled, that let us have the four chiefs identify the Agofe from among themselves and then declare to the General Assembly. According to them, actually according to the Elders Council, this should have been the rightful procedure right from the beginning, not the aspect of the select committee sitting to receive nominations and then eventually elections happening. Why that is important is when you look at some of the elections that we had for the chiefs at the lower levels, you'd find basically it really didn't involve this voting of putting up of hands. I am for so and so and this is for so and so. It was about dialogue. It was about people coming together and sitting, and they begin to narrate history. And so is this. These are the clans that used to produce for us the chiefs, and these are the people who were the last people. And in many cases, there were people they identified, they knew this is the person, and all consensus comes together to say that this is the person who is supposed to be the rightful person. Right.
So why is it that this is different for the paramount chief?
Because the paramount chief position is would I say relatively, because this is, as we said, we are going to have the fourth paramount chief, is relatively new relative to other positions that we have had. We have had clan leaders for thousands of years, we have had chiefs for thousands of years, but we have had paramount leaders for coming to hundreds, we can say hundreds of years, not thousands. So it's and yet it was interrupted in the middle. By the way, and this is not only for the Lugbara. This is the same you find in Acholi, you find in a number of other clans, other major tribes in Uganda, where the paramount chiefs are either the second or the third paramount chief in place. So for me it's normal when we have hitches in the process of electing the paramount chief. But as we talk now, I am confident that we are going to put a finger on the paramount chief very soon. Okay,
you earlier highlighted that the cultural organization has a judiciary, very, very powerful, and I hope they'll be able to really weigh all this. And because really, if you look at from the discussions and also compare notes with what is actually coming from the select committee, you clearly understand that there's some gap that has not been filled very well. And this arises from the legal implications of what we are doing now. If one candidate has been duly vetted to be the one who is who was qualified. I know the constitution of the Lugbara Cultural Institution says as long as you complete A level, you qualify to be a contestant in the position of the paramount chief. But also the tie node comes at a time when you have what ranks have you been able to follow? Have you been a leader from the grassroots, so that you understand the problems of the people from down? And that's what is actually bringing this contestation. So was it worth to organize elections? Is the question that I still feel it has not been really fully answered. Yes. Was it worth to organize those elections? If it was worth, because really the select committee was entrusted by the cultural institution to do the work on their behalf, whose output would have ideally be respected by the cultural institution. So going ahead to organize elections means the works done by the select committee was not really something the cultural organization was not satisfied of. Was it worth to organize more elections besides the people you entrusted coming up with those recommendations? I
would say this. I said it before, I want to repeat. There are about 3 laws that we are dealing with when we are going into the issue of the election of the cultural of the paramount chief. One is a Lugbara cultural institution constitution that was drafted some time back, which we have registered and filed with Ministry of Gender. The second law, not only one, they are the national laws in relation to the traditional institutions, which is already there, which the country, the one of Uganda, it already exists, and it has specific ways that it recommends that the leaders should be identified. What kind of person would make a leader of a cultural institution? That law, we have to also abide by it. And the third law are the customs of the Lugbara, which already exist on how Lugbara are supposed to identify leadership. So what we're talking about is, and the most supreme for me of the 3 laws is the customs of the Lugbara, followed by the national constitution, and then the third aspect is the written Lugbarakari constitution. In other words, that one even is the weakest of the 3 aspects. So what we're trying to balance is how to overcome the weaknesses in our written constitution of Lugbarakari by focusing on our customs, because if it already contravenes with our customs, then there's a problem. And also focusing on the national constitution, on the recommendations within the Cultural Institutions Act in relation to identification of leaders. So for example, the national law specifically says that the person who becomes a leader should have been appointed by the people that he is going to lead. That is key, and that is consistent with our culture, where you, the leader, is actually in place by the authority of the people that you're going to lead, even at clan level. And that's what makes us a chiefdom and not a kingdom. So you're not going to be there automatically just because you were born in that family. If the people feel that you are not performing according to the way they want, they will put you aside. So basically what the select committee did was consistent with the written Lugbarakari constitution, but in some ways inconsistent with the customs and inconsistent with the national laws. So this is an internal contradiction which I think we wouldn't want to talk much out there, but it's important that people understand, and it is for the better. It's not something to fight with the other. It is not about fighting for the other. I know there are people who have interest in a particular person they want. Okay, this person should be the one that should be, or this person should be the one that should stand. But the cultural institution is saying it shouldn't be a war. It shouldn't be a clash. It should be a dialogue from among the people, because the person we're choosing is not really a supreme leader in the way of kingdoms, where he's final and that. He's actually a servant of the people who assign him the honor to become the paramount chief. So in other words, the 4 chiefs will be the ones to finally pick the person and say, okay, so and so, sit there on that chair. He's a person they are supposed to use to link them, to coordinate with them, to help them to advance their common voice as the chiefs. So basically, when you look at the role of the select committee, they did a good job. They did a good job, but the limitations are not in relation to the legalism in the sense of the constitution that was written by Lugbara Kari, but in relation to the bigger customs of the Lugbara and the culture, and also the contradictions with the national constitution.
Okay, looking
that has been resolved quite well. As you say, one of the candidates was actually knocked off, and that was a tug of war internally, because he really felt aggrieved. He aggrieved that he should have been there, because this other written constitution actually, in a way, as you said, does not say if you are not a clan leader, you should not stand. If you're not a chief, you should not stand. So in other words, you could have gone yourself and said, me, I am also, according to this constitution, it's okay for me to stand. But then we are saying, no, even me, I could have stood. But I know by my customs of the Lugbara, when I go back to my village, I don't have a chair. Even when I'm a knowledgeable person, even when I'm an exposed person, even when I'm an educated person, when I go back to the clan, I sit under the leadership of my clan leader, and he's there. And I can assure you, I will never be clan leader of my clan until I die.
Because you have not been there closely with them.
I am not there. So we are saying now, although this constitution kind of left it open, we know naturally by our customs that this is not proper. So that is where the problem comes in. So the proper way is for the chiefs to sit down and negotiate and come up with a common position. And that is what is going on right now. Some of the chiefs, especially the chief of Aivu, as you may have noticed, there's a pending court case against him. And we think it's essential that the rest of the chiefs collaborate and the Lugbara Cultural Institution moves ahead. Let us settle that matter. Let us settle the issue of the court case with him. There are other people who are showing up that they also want to be Agofe. Chief for Aivu, apart from the official elected chief. Can we dialogue with those people and sort that issue so that we have a smooth ground? If tomorrow, for example, the chief of Aivu becomes the paramount chief, then we don't have a lawsuit from here, lawsuit from here, lawsuit from there over the same matter. And
okay, I would love to continue, but we are time bad. Right. Let me have your final words on this, and also maybe we leave the room for the news in Lugbarati.
It's okay. My final word is still what comes from the chiefs. What I can say for now to the Lugbara community is the 4 chiefs have sat. I was witness to that sitting as well. And we had a situation where the chief of Terego said the previous Agofe was from, the last Agofe was from Terego, so he's not going to stand. He's going to give room for the other 3 chiefs to continue. And then we had the chief of Vora, who also confidently said the interim Agofe who died was from Vora, and he would have loved that the next Agofe comes from either the chief of Maracha or the chief of Aivu, one of the 2. So this is the state where we are right now, and we believe we are going to progress. I echo the voice of the chiefs. The Lugbara community, let us be patient. Let us give time for these things to be sorted, so that when we have this leader, when we have our paramount chief in place, he will have a smooth ground to start with, and we'll be able to hit and run, other than rush things now and then have consequences later. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for really taking your time to also come to the station to really allay the fears of the Lugbara people. Remember, this is one thing that is not only affecting the people of Lugbara, but also the entire local governments that we have here. There are others that are not having, that are having already other tribes. But the most importantly, the 5 districts that are Lugbara speaking entirely really need to get what is actually happening. That's very important. There are some Lugbaras who are in the diaspora who have been following. We appreciate you so much for being part of the show. I've been having the information minister, that is Lugbara Kari, the cultural institution for the Lugbara speaking people, that is Moses Mandebo. He's here, and I will be engaging you more next time when we come back to actually give you updates on what is actually happening in the chiefdom. Okay, that's very, very important. There are a lot of issues that will be getting back maybe when the paramount chief will be got, or what are the other updates will be having, will be actually being given you them in this show. Okay, that is very, very important. But keep following up on more updates on the subsequent programs that we have here on Western TV. Behind the camera is Dijon Pro, and also my producer Aldo is right back there. My name is Federick Dramadri. Up next we'll be having the news in Lubarati that will be brought to you by Feta Emmanuel. Thank you very, very much for being part of this show. We'll be having the same tomorrow from the same time, that is 7 up to 9 a.m. So that is it. And up next we'll have the news in Lubarati. As earlier I said, will be brought to you by Feta Emmanuel. And thereafter we'll have the Northern Requests that will be brought to you by Boniface, who will be behind that production. And also, if you have any music that you want to watch and so on, you can share with them on YouTube, and also WhatsApp groups that we have already created, where you'll be able to actually get a live feedback on the music you want to watch. And thereafter you have the little news that will come by midday, that will be brought to you by Peace Your Chuck and many other programs, especially at the Wishful Time, where you have sports analysis that will be brought to you by Benson Pastor and the team. And also thereafter you have movies moving on, and also that will bring you to the entertainment show, that is the Chuku Chuku Live, that will have from the hour of 5 to 6 up to 7, that will be taking you to the news in English. That will be concluding the day with Christine Komoringa. I'm out of the studios. Bye bye for now. Thank you.